Okay, I did want to make this video, but at the same time, it's like if you take all the worst things that have happened to you and then write it down and then compare it to Saturn, it's just all right there, like a play-by-play. It's awful. When Saturn was in Libra, I had just started up a business relationship with my 10-year partner. Multi-million-dollar kind of thing that blew up in my face. That was awesome. And so did the relationship. And then Saturn moved into Scorpio. And, well, there's no easy way to say it, but 2 of my very close family members died of cancer. So that was great. Thank you, Saturn in Scorpio. And then when Saturn moved into Sagittarius, well, I was thinking, well, I'm not an excess kind of person. Well, no, but it just surrounded me with people that were excessive. Like, I was surrounded by 3 people who were suicidal, and I was surrounded by several alcoholics that were blowing up everything in their path. And meanwhile, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, so now Saturn, how are you going to rain on my parade? That's what you guys are thinking. And that's what I'm thinking too. Okay, so maybe if we prepare, then we won't be so blindsided by Saturn's movement. All right, so Saturn in Capricorn is right at home, but that doesn't make it any easier. It's going to be like a double dose of reality. If you're somebody who likes to skate around work with a little charm and a little finesse, yeah, it's not going to work. So for the next 2.5 years, you better learn how to be hardworking. Otherwise, expect things to get really rocky really quick. I don't care where your Saturn placement is. Saturn in Capricorn means grow up. It's going to be severe for all of us. On the plus side, the great thing is, though, that Capricorn is great at building wealth. So, everyone, after going through these next 2.5 years, you are going to be more in a position to build up wealth than ever before. Maybe whatever business you're trying to set up hasn't been working because you haven't been realistic. And this next 2 years, you're going to get realistic. Or maybe you're in the wrong line of business altogether. You're finally going to get fired, which is going to actually be some really amazing blessing in disguise. It's time to get real. Cut the crap, see things for what they are. Illusions are gone. Pretty words are gone. All you're left with is just the cold, hard truth. Because Saturn is in Capricorn for the next 2.5 years, which just started December 19th, we are going to be really focused on cutting the fat in terms of our work. Whatever is not suiting you as far as work goes is just going to go away. And if you cling to it, it's still going to go away. No matter how much you want it to stick around, Saturn is not going to let you have your way. The house always wins. Putting your financial future, putting your work future, putting your career in your own hands, putting the power back into your hands is what Capricorn's all about. Capricorn doesn't want to work for anyone else. Capricorn doesn't want anyone to dictate to them. Capricorn is willing to look at things logically and be the boss and make the hard decisions. All of us will come out of this with a better idea of how to be the boss in our own lives. And this isn't going to be easy because any notions we have of like, oh, well, this will work out. No, it's not going to work out. Cut the fat. Move on. People are going to be saving money more than they have in 30 years. People are going to be opening up businesses more than they have in 30 years. What's kind of cool about this is that the last time that Saturn was in Capricorn was from 88 to 91. And if you guys lived in the 80s, you'll remember this was a time of money. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of done with the whole recession thing. Yeah, I'm kind of sick of it. So I'm totally ready to stockpile the cash. Bring it. Who isn't ready for that, right? And the best thing is, since we're going to be going through Saturn and Capricorn, we're going to first learn how to be savvy financial people so that the money won't just come and go. We'll be able to buy houses. We'll be able to create wealth that stays. Me, being one of the millennials, I think this is much needed for our generation because everyone's been telling us we are so irresponsible. We have no idea what we're doing. Okay, we do know what we're doing in some ways, but financially, no. We're pretty much pure idiots, myself included. I'm going to also do a series on Saturn returns that will give you much more insight into your personal astrology. But when Saturn transitions, it means a big shift for all of us. It doesn't matter what your sign is, it's still going to affect you in a big way. It's just that when it's your return, it affects you in an even bigger way. For the longest time, it feels like all of us have been just content to blame other people, even if you look at the world of politics or you look at the world at large. But when Saturn is in Capricorn, it's going to be harder to do that than ever before. Capricorn is responsible. It's the old stodgy grandfather. Tells you how it is. It's going to tell you all about the war, and we're all going to come out of this with war wounds. We're not going to be taken advantage of anymore. We're going to stick up for ourselves. We're also going to be very critical of ourselves. We're not going to just live in a delusion and tell ourselves what we want to hear. So I guess it's kind of good that I've been doing all the North nodes, because North nodes I know are really hard to hear. Some people, why are you only saying negative stuff? We sound awful. Well, of course, if they looked at all the videos, that's how it is for everybody. With Saturn in Capricorn, it's going to be easier for everyone to digest criticism. I think for a lot of us, it's going to be a feeling like we're finally ready to balance the checkbook. We're finally ready to pay off our debt. We're finally ready to not buy the new car and have car payments, but instead buy the $5,000 car that we won't have to get a loan for. Smarter financial decisions, smarter, more practical choices. We don't have to always go for more. Now we've learned from Saturn and Sagittarius the downside of excess. We have seen the alcoholics that have blown up their lives. We have won a bunch of money and then lost it the next week. We have pushed our body to the limits, and then we had 3 surgeries to make up for it. Life has taught us all lessons to prepare us to be more practical and grounded. And now that we're practical and grounded, we can start building instead of just destroying. Without going through Sagittarius first, we would just build and then destroy. Now we know the downside of being too reckless. We also know the downside of building something that isn't what we want. Sagittarius says listen to your heart, but also don't be delusional. If you're building up a business in a field that you don't really care about, it might not be the best plan. It's time to align your responsibilities with your motivations. We also can't let people push us around. Capricorn teaches us to stick up for ourselves, to say, you know what, I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm not going to get anywhere if I keep letting you push me around. Saturn always has a way when we're in that moment of making us feel awful. But then when we look back, we say, you know what? That was meaningful. It had to happen. It taught me what I needed to know. And then you're free. You can break free from whatever illusions you had before that were just not going to serve you in your life. There's no quick fix. Yeah, we live in the age of the internet. You can just go online and you can order food and it's there to your house in 20 minutes. But in your career, building wealth and buying a house, there's no quick fix for that. The same things that our grandparents knew, being responsible, is going to start coming back around. I've even started thinking more about those life lessons that I disregarded for a long time, and they've started coming back into my mind. This is the perfect time to open up an investment portfolio. This is the perfect time to put money into your 401k. Probably not the greatest time to make a business that's about the quick fix. If you're going to start a business, think of something very practical that people need. Also, Capricorn is related to the family. It's the father figure. So this Capricorn energy is going to really highlight the places where our families are not getting along, and it's going to put a big spotlight on it. And people will probably just decide not to talk to each other for several months, and they'll be very stubborn about it because it's not so much a hot-headed energy, it's more of just a very strong, stern energy. Through that, there will be self-reflection. Both sides can think about how to restructure the family so that everyone ends up getting along and meshing better. These could be wounds that have been there for generations, and they'll finally find their time to heal. Saturn in Capricorn is also going to be a great time for all of us to start really looking at ways that we can take care of our planet and be more practical. We're going to notice that government and conservationists and the world at large is going to be more focused on just being more pragmatic. The good thing is that means less war. We don't have time to spend money on other people's problems. We're going to be just more focused on right here at home. For everyone, all the countries are going to be really focused on the basics of building the structure, the roads, bank accounts, investing, taking care of our world and our resources. With Saturn in Capricorn, all of us universally will have a better handle on what leadership is and what that means. We will be more critical than ever before of our bosses, of our politicians, our church leaders, anyone who's in a position of authority. We're all going to be expecting them to really put the hard work in. It won't be enough to just say what we want to hear anymore. They're going to have to actually put their money where their mouth is. This is a great time to start over. This is the beginning. This is when Saturn is right at home. There's no better time for us to be practical and to have our heads screwed on straight than over the next 2.5 years. With the right planning, the right attitude, and the right work ethic, nothing will be impossible. All right, I hope you guys liked my take on Saturn's return to Capricorn.